Hi guys and welcome to a new video from your favorite blobface. Today we need to talk about a story so dumb I literally don't know what to say really. And there are only two places that you can imagine such a ridiculous story to take place at. Either it's TikTok or it's Twitter. Today it's the later one. Twitter is the cause of this insanely dumb story that eventually led to the actual death of a man. To be honest, it isn't even surprising anymore in this day and age that Twitter is able to literally end someone, as Twitter is just a shit show in general, literally cancelling everyone that breathes, having huge ass mobs behind people, sending these people death threats and insults only because they disagree with someone's opinion. Weirdly enough, today's story wasn't even a Twitter mob that eventually caused the death of a man. The actual cause of this sad event that happened on Twitter that actually cost someone his life was a Twitter ad. And with a Twitter ad, I mean their username. You know how on Twitter before every username there's this sign, an ad sign? Like for example, before PewDiePie left Twitter, his username was @PewDiePie, and that's how you could find him over at that site. Another example is my own ad that I will now shamelessly plug on this episode, because talking about this is just a perfect opportunity to self-promote, and as you guys know, I will not pass on those opportunities. So for example, my Twitter ad is @Blobber_YouTube. Follow me or that vegan teacher will come to your house at night to talk to you about veganism. So now we covered what these Twitter ads mean. Now what you may not know is that these ads can sell for loads of money, and I mean like thousands of dollars. If a name is very short, that makes the name more likable for people, as it's way easier to be found on Twitter. @Blobber for example is easier to remember and find, as @Blobber, that fish from YouTube that you all hate who makes a lot of shit videos. So you can imagine that smaller usernames with like 1, 2 or 3 characters are quite rare and valuable. Now not only those small ads are valuable, but also words in ads are valuable, as it's easier for people to remember @share for example than another 5-letter word that is something like this. So this man from today's stories had the ad at Tennessee, and let's just play the news report for you to see what exactly happened here.
New tonight, it's called swatting. It is a growing problem across the country. The term refers to a hoax 911 call with the goal of diverting emergency resources to an unsuspecting person's home. On News 2 at 4, we told you about a victim who found himself in the middle of a swatting call after he refused to give up his Twitter handle. He was part of a nationwide crime spree targeting people with rare usernames worth thousands of dollars. News 2's Alex Dennis explains how minors are suspected of orchestrating the entire scheme that ended with a local man dead, with a story you'll see only here on News 2.
So that was already a lot to unravel. So this man was swatted, it seems like. Some people think swatting is a funny prank, as many streamers had this problem as well. People calling the police on them, saying for example they are shooting people nearby and the SWAT team shows up to the house. But of course, anyone with just a singular brain cell can see how swatting is not funny whatsoever. Actually it's the complete opposite, as it's an horrendous thing to do. Not only does it waste police resources, because the man in the police at the swatted person's house cannot be at 2 places at the same time, so an actual criminal may get away because of this joke. But to make matters worse, it's actually also very dangerous for the person being swatted, even resulting in a death from time to time. So I don't know how you can be so freaking stupid that you think that this is somehow even remotely funny at all. And hearing that minors were doing this shit makes it even worse. When I was a minor, I was just playing some games all day upstairs in my parents' house. What the hell is wrong with this new generation? Swatting people for a literal digital name on a social media platform. What the hell is wrong with you? Hopefully they get a highest punishment for this, as this deserves nothing less. But let's watch this new story play out.
His neighbor called and said, there's police everywhere and they think a man has killed a woman and he's on your property. You know, you need to take cover.
It was shocking news for 60-year-old Mark Herring, who lived here off of a sleepy country road in Bethpage.
He went out the house with a gun because he heard someone was on his property. And he sees all these cops around him. And they ask if he is Mark Herring, put your hands up. So he tosses the gun away from him to show he's not a threat. Hands up.
A full response from authorities faced the innocent grandfather, who died minutes later.
I believe that he was scared to death, and that is what caused his heart attack.
So let me be clear here. On the one hand, we have some dumb ass minors that think it's funny to swat someone, or even worse, try to manipulate the man into giving his Twitter handle and threaten him by swatting him. And this innocent man, doing nothing wrong whatsoever, was so shocked by the whole situation that he literally got a heart attack from it. Like, I can imagine that. Just picture it yourself. You are just chilling at home, you're vibing some shit, maybe watching a movie, watching some YouTube, maybe even one of my videos, and you hear there's some shit outside, and go take a look, and you see a whole entire SWAT team pointing guns at you. Bro, I kid you not, if I didn't die at that moment of a heart attack, I would fucking shit my pants right then and there. I never had a gun pointed at me and now suddenly have a whole ass fucking SWAT team in front of you. Literally no joke, I would poop myself.
His family rushed to Sumner Regional Medical Center, where they learned more about Herring's final moments.
They just kept talking about this 911 call that was placed.
It had been like a prank phone call or a swatting phone call.
Months later, they learned about Shane Sonderman, a minor back in April 2020 when the crime was committed.
He was from Tennessee. He's the one that collected all of our information. My address, my sister's, my mom's, my other sister. Like, he put it on a channel on Discord, which is a gaming chat form.
So this motherfucker doxed a random guy and posted all his details on Discord. Well, that should go well, right? Well, of course we know already that it didn't go well, but anyone who has a mental capacity of a 3-year-old would know that already. How are people so stupid these days? The only kind of funny thing I see here is the news talking about Discord. You already know they have no idea what the hell it is, calling it a game chat service. Well, in fact it's more than that. It's just a chat service really. And worst of all, they're putting Fortnite in the background for some unknown reason, just to be relatable to kids, because you know it, all the cool kids play Fortnite.
The private information released for use in an intimidation tactic meant to convince Herring to hand over his one-of-a-kind Twitter handle @Tennessee. Herring refused. Another minor was in on the scheme.
A kid in the United Kingdom made the call to my dad's local police department.
He will not be extradited from the United Kingdom because he is still currently a minor.
Right.
Sonderman is currently behind bars awaiting trial. A federal grand jury indictment claims he had 6 victims across the country. Herring was the only one who died.
They're not playing a game and they're not thinking it's funny. This is legit extortion.
How much money are they selling these handles for?
It's like $3,000, $4,000, like pennies compared to a life.
Imagine putting your life at stake for such a small amount of money. Like, that shit gets you like 2 to 3 months of rent in some shitty place here, and you not only wasted your own life as you need to go behind bars, but you also risked an innocent man's life to the point that he's actually dead now. Congratulations, humanity. You proved me once again never to put trust into you again.
The family shares Herring's story now for several reasons.
Watch your kids on the internet because they know more than you think they know.
And that those guilty of swatting face tougher penalties.
You've not just changed that one person's life, you've done a ripple effect, and they need to pay for that.
Alex Dennis, News 2.
Sonderman faces a conspiracy charge on a possible 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. He'll be back in court July 21st.
So there you have it, $250,000 fine next to a jail sentence. These kids wanted $2,000 to $3,000 from a Twitter handle, and now they have a fine 100 times as much. Don't get me wrong, I would have chosen a longer punishment, as 5 years for killing an innocent man is just not enough. But it shows just how dumb these actions of these kids were. And don't come at me like Blobber, they didn't kill this man, he had a heart attack. Well, if these kids hadn't called the police, this man would probably still be alive right now. So these kids certainly had something to do with it. So I don't even want to hear it, I don't care. So in conclusion, don't trust people, they're horrible. The next generation are complete screw-ups, and just all in all, we lost faith in humanity once again. And with that said, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel and hit that bell notification. Blobfish out.